Well, first let me say I'm 59 years old. I was born in Boston, and my youth up until 18 was in a city called Framingham, which is about 20 miles west of Boston. And grew up Jewish, where my father was owned a furniture store, and I was number one son, oldest of four. And there was a strong expectation for us to do well and all that, so there's a certain pressure there from that and other things, I guess. And from a young age, I just felt like nothing was going to go right in my life. And at that age, looking back, you don't know what it is. You don't know, is that just, hey, I'm 12 years old and I'm supposed to feel like this, or this is more serious than that. And so I think that's the earliest I remember having those feelings. And so I just felt depressed a lot. I felt like I didn't want to participate in these kinds of things, but I struggled through. I went to college, and I was able to finish college in Washington, D.C. And I went on to get a master's in business administration at UCLA, MBA. So on one hand, I was able to achieve. I was able to focus enough. On another hand, I was living a parallel life where there was a lot of suffering involved, where there were stops and goes, where I would be able to accomplish things, and then I would get to a certain point and feel a lot of anxiety, a certain almost paranoia, and start withdrawing away from everything, from people, from my job, and almost become a hermit. And then it would start again, where I try to get back on track, I build up, I make contacts. I think I'm a confident person, but there was always a black cloud over my head, always waiting to erupt, sort of. As I got older, it kind of got worse and worse. I did see doctors, but it just never was able to be dealt with, where finally, about 5 years ago, I got very bad and very withdrawn, to a point that my family and my friends had kind of an intervention, which led to me being at a hospital on an outpatient basis for a number of weeks. And in those periods, I bottomed out. Since then, I have gotten care. I'm diagnosed as clinically depressed, clinical depression. I take something called Effexor, which helps with the brain waves, and also I'm in talk therapy. So all those things have allowed me to remain and do my job, which is being a photographer. And one of the things I wanted to say was that I've had a long journey. My brother had a long journey. My cousin has had a long journey. My uncle had a long journey, all very similar. And there is hope. There is places to go. And two things that I would recommend in terms of treatment. One is, I'm lucky enough to be the father of an English bulldog named Winston, who's 8 years old. And he is not only a wonderful guy, but reminds me that it's today that counts. It's today that I'm dealing with in terms of my emotions and all that, to be present. Second thing I would say is art, to be able to channel some of these feelings, some of these negative feelings, some of these dark feelings, some of the anxiety feelings into something else beyond myself has helped me, and I would certainly recommend it. And I just want people to reach out, because there are other people that would help them, and not to stay in the shadows and just assume that I'll die, or nobody cares, because it's not true. There's a lot of people out there who care, who want to help you. So if you're out there listening to this and this sounds familiar to you, please contact mental health professionals, hospitals, that they can help you. and thank you for letting me share my story. After a long period of time struggling with depression, it finally got bad enough that I had become totally withdrawn from my work, from my family, from everybody. And after a number of interventions, I agreed to go to an outpatient facility to help me overcome it, because you think you can do it, but you can't. You need help. And in that period, I decided that I couldn't be the only one who's struggling with this. And I thought one of the unfair things that I had experienced was, and I was relatively lucky, I had some health insurance, although it didn't help me. I had friends and family who were willing to take some of the financial burden for me to get the help I needed, but I know not everybody has that circumstance. So I decided to look around to see what advocacy groups were out there that might be helping people like myself to both understand the system, to maybe get in touch with other people who were like I was. So I contacted the Mental Health Association, got on their mailing list, went to a couple of events,